urgent matters. We were sure there were going to be urgent matters as Prime Minister, so I could not undertake the visit right away, but I will undertake the visit at some point. With regard to part A of the question, I wish to inform the House that I led a high-level delegation to India from the 9th to the 16th of September 2025. The delegation comprised of 5 ministers, 1 junior minister, 1 member of parliament, senior government officials, heads of key public institutions, and some 50 representatives of the private sector. Regards to part A2 of the question, I feel it is ironical that the honourable member, who himself undertook three missions during the short stint he was Speaker, 78 days to be exact, appointed under very dubious circumstances, is more interested in expenses incurred for the mission, such an important mission, instead of focusing on the outcome of the visit. In fact, during the 78 days of his speakership, the honourable member travelled for more than 13 days. No, you have to repeat it, to 3 different countries. Except for him, except for him, nobody is aware of the benefits that the country derived from the nearly 800,000 rupees spent on these missions. Madam Speaker, the total cost incurred in respect of the Prime Minister's office during my state visit to India and the official delegation is around 3.8 million rupees, representing basically airfares, allowances, and so on. I must point out, Madam Speaker, that the quantum of the allowances is based on the same rate applicable since 2017. It hasn't been changed. I wish to inform the House that my state visit resulted in a special economic package to the tune of $680 million, which is approximately 31 billion rupees. This is what we brought back. The financial assistance would meet the needs and priorities in Mauritius in several areas. India has also agreed to give us a grant of $25 million as budgetary support for this financial year. $25 million. Regard to part B of the question, I consider it, frankly, a lack of respect towards the Prime Minister of India and his government for the honourable member to request a detailed copy of the programme of the visit. It is India who decides where I should go, who I should meet, not me who say, I want to do this, I want to do that. Madam Speaker, let me highlight the salient features. You should know all this. The salient features of the state visit. First, the visit started with India-Mauritius and India-Mauritius Business Conclave, held on the 10th of September 2025 in Mumbai, which was jointly organized by the Economic Development Board and the Federation of Indian Chambers of Commerce and Industry. The business meeting brought together some 200 Indian and 55 Mauritian private sector players. It allowed Mauritian businessmen to network with the Indian counterparts for potential collaboration, in various sectors of interest, including financial services, information and communication, technology, medical services, and manufacturing. This meeting resulted in the identification of several important foreign direct investment potentials. Some high-level investors have already traveled to Mauritius and will soon be embarking on high-value projects. The Leela Bhatti Foundation, which came to Mauritius soon after my visit, they met me there. They will embark on the construction of a 200-bed multi-speciality hospital. It will be a state-of-the-art hospital which will include a separate pediatric and gynecological wards. This will help Mauritius. Instead of our patients having to travel to India to get top medical care, this will be here in Mauritius. They won't have to pay for whatever rooms they will have to rent. They will not have to pay very expensive to go even the traveling, because this will help. The Economic Development Board also partners with Invest UP to organize an India-Mauritius business meeting in Varanasi. The event attracted some 50 private sector operators from Uttar Pradesh and discussions centered on fostering joint collaboration and facilitating two-way investment between Uttar Pradesh and Mauritius. The official part of my visit started in Varanasi, making it the first time that a head of government was received in Varanasi, which is the religious and cultural heartbeat of India, and also it happens to be the parliamentary constituency of the Prime Minister Narendra Modi. As a prelude to my meeting with the Prime Minister of India, I had a working session with the Foreign Secretary of India, Mr. Vikram Misri. Our discussions focused on the launch of various new projects and on addressing implementation of existing agreements, including the double taxation avoidance agreement. On the 10th of September 2025, I had a one-to-one meeting with the Prime Minister of India, Mr. Narendra Modi, in Varanasi. The one-to-one meeting with Sri Narendra Modi was followed by a working session. We discussed key issues of mutual importance, including regional security and our shared commitment to an enhanced strategic partnership. Furthermore, I had in-depth discussions related to the double taxation avoidance agreement, highlighting how the protocol signed by the previous government in May 2016 is undermining our financial services sector to the advantage of other countries like Singapore, like Netherlands, and all these. We agreed to pursue further consultations to ensure a mutually beneficial outcome and alignment on key issues before we sign the new protocol. Madam Speaker, the Prime Minister of India responded positively to my request to facilitate the upcoming travel of the Mauritian delegation, which I will lead together with the Deputy Prime Minister to the Chagos Archipelago. Madam Speaker, following my restricted meeting with the Prime Minister of India, there was a high-level delegation meeting during which 7 memoranda of understanding and agreements were exchanged, and 3 others were announced in numerous fields, such as space research, marine science, power, renewable energies, education, and technological sectors. Besides the high-level strategic meeting with the Prime Minister of India, I also had meetings with the President of India, the Vice President of India, the Minister of Health and Family Welfare, as well as the Leader of the Opposition. These meetings served as an enabling platform for the Mauritian side to discuss issues of mutual interest and seek the support of the Indian authorities on a wide range of issues such as security, economic and technical cooperation, as well as capacity building. Madam Speaker, my state visit fused with civilization, symbolism and strategic purpose, if I may put it that way. It was an opportunity to project a story of enduring civilization bonds. Since our independence, India's role has been instrumental as an unflinching partner in our development. My visit has confirmed the privileged relations between our two countries. It is a matter of great pride for our country to have become the strategic partner of a country like India, which is projected to be, by 2027, the 3rd economic power of the world. Madam Speaker, I take this opportunity to express my profound gratitude to the Government of India and to Sri Narendra Modi for the continued support to the development of Mauritius.
Thank you. Yes.
Yes, Madam Speaker. The Prime Minister may not be aware, but I was invited by the Speaker of Parliament in India. I had met the Minister of Foreign Affairs and the Vice President who he met. And we had technical support for the live translation of Creole and French in Parliament. 5 or 6 staff from the Mauritian National Assembly have been trained free of charge in India, all paid for by India. Madam Speaker, I note that the Prime Minister...
One moment. Now that you've said that, I can understand.
Yes.
Will you please put your supplementary?
Yes, thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, the Prime Minister has replied for the Prime Minister's office. We know that there have been persons from statehood enterprises who have accompanied. May we know, and the ministers, etc., may we know the total cost, as per the question, incurred by the government of Mauritius, including by statehood companies, on the payment of airfare, accommodation, per diem, etc., etc. He has answered for the PMO.
I've answered for the government side, but for the private sector, they paid everything themselves.
No, he was saying you just answered for PMO. You answered for the whole, yes. Okay, now, before you put your second question, members, I've forgotten to tell you that the table has been advised that PQB 952 will be replied by Dr. the Honourable Prime Minister, time permitting. PQB 911 will be replied by Honourable Minister of Housing and Lands. PQB 913 will be replied by Honourable Minister of Information Technology, Communication and Innovation. By the way, and there's a PQ that has been withdrawn, I'll tell you in a minute. I just want to tell you I don't have a very good voice today. Please forgive me. Yes. Your second question.
B900.
Speaker, as stated in my reply to the private notice question of the Leader of the Opposition on the 7th of October 2025, an amount of 5.5 billion rupees is payable to Dr. Ramasitanen following his resignation as Governor of the Bank of Mauritius. I wish to highlight that this is not a compensation, as is being alleged in some quarters, but actually dues payable to him. I am informed by the Bank of Mauritius that the sum of 5.5 million rupees includes refund of unutilized annual and sick leaves, encashment of accrued passage benefits, and payment of pro-rated end-of-the-year bonus and 3-month emolument in lieu of notice. Regard to Part A of the question, I am informed by the Bank of Mauritius that during his tenure of office, Dr. Sithanan has drawn a total remuneration of 9 million rupees as per his contract of appointment. Concerning Part B of the question, I am informed that Dr. Sithanan spent 35 days abroad on official missions.
Yes.
First question, Madam Speaker. How can someone who has resigned be paid compensation payment in lieu of notice?
This is according to the law, Madam Speaker. The Bank, Section 18 of the Bank of Mauritius provides for a governor to either give a 3-month notice in case he intends to resign. He didn't manage to give the 3-month notice, but I asked him to resign. But in fact, in reality, he was given a 3-month notice. This is why it went like this.
It doesn't make any sense. Contractual law.
We're not in a court of law.
Yes. May I ask the Prime Minister, without passing any judgment on Mr. Ramasitanen, in view of the serious allegations that have surfaced whilst he was governor and since he has resigned, why is it that whilst the investigation is ongoing, decision has been taken to pay Mr. Sithanen, who, if it turns out, has committed breaches of contract, may not be entitled to any compensation whatsoever under contractual law?
I may ask the honourable member if the investigation takes 5 years. So he waits for 5 years? Tell me. You tell me. You tell me.
This is what happens.
In that case, I ask him, who do you think will want to take important positions in Mauritius if that is the way you're going to treat people? Think again.
Okay, next question. Honourable Kiran, yes.
901.
Madam Speaker, the National Agency for Drug Control Act was proclaimed on the 15th of May, 2025. The NADEC is a statutory body entrusted to coordinate the national drug response through prevention enforcement, treatment, rehabilitation, and harm reduction. With regard to Part A of the question, I'm informed that for the financial year 2025-2026, an amount of 70 million rupees has been allocated to the NEDC. In regards to Part B of the question, I'm informed A, that the Chief Executive Officer was appointed on the 12th of June 2025, and he currently draws a monthly package of 169,350 rupees, including basic salary, salary compensation, traveling allowance, and telephone allowance, in addition to contractual entitlements such as car benefits, passage benefits, and gratuity. And B, the chairperson was appointed on the 16th of June 2025, and he receives a monthly allowance of 40,000 rupees. In regards to Part C of the question, Madam Speaker, I'm informed that at the date, a total of 2,160,000 246,751 rupees and 05 cents have been dispersed. I'm tabling the information requested by the honourable member. Madam Speaker, I wish to inform the House that the NADC is being a newly created agency, is still in the process of transitioning into a fully established organization. With a view to assisting the NADC administratively, 10 officers of my office are providing support to the CEO in the field of administration, finance, human resource procurement, and accommodation. Meanwhile, to empower the agency to fulfill its mandate optimally, a recruitment exercise for 7 core posts, such as the administrative manager and coordinators, is ongoing. The posts were advertised on the 3rd of October 2025 with a closing date of the 23rd of October 2025. A total of 144 applications for all the posts has been received. Interviews will be conducted from the 3rd to the 7th of November 2025. In addition, the NADC has already identified premises to set up its office, and procedures for finalizing the lease agreements are underway. Madam Speaker, I must point out that my office has received a number of representations from NGOs as well as from independent persons regarding the performance of the NADC and the lack of coordination of efforts sur le terrain. In fact, as I said, it's a new agency. It must start doing, it takes time to do all this, but in fact, government is not, I can't say we are totally satisfied with the way the agency has been operating, and we are intent to take remedial actions and to improve its effectiveness in the days to come.
Yes, Mr. Khan.
Merci, Madame la Présidente. L'honorable Premier ministre peut-il dire à la Chambre, suite aux doutes exprimés par plusieurs travailleurs sociaux, des ONG et même par le junior ministre, l'honorable Koran Parapen, concernant les compétences et la capacité du président Sambleton à s'adapter aux réalités actuelles, s'il compte le remplacer à la tête de cette agence, comme cela a été fait récemment au sein d'autres institutions.
Prime Minister?
This is a sensitive post. I can tell the honourable member it's very difficult to find people who are actually ready to do that job.
Non, non.
Il y en a? Mais quand on prend contact avec eux, ils s'en vont. C'est trop dangereux. Maybe you will be prepared to do it? No, but maybe you would want to do it. It's not easy. Give us names. If you have names, give us names, we will consider it.
Okay. Your next question, please. You have more supplementary?
Next question.
Yes.
902, please.
Madam Speaker, I wish to refer the honourable member to the reply I made to PQB 816 on the 7th of October 2025. As I had indicated then, government is currently working on the setting up of a constitutional review commission tasked to come up with the recommendations on several constitutional, electoral and governance reforms, which will include, among others, the revision of our electoral system to better reflect the will of the people, to also look at the way elections have been run especially by the MSM, and also revitalize our democratic principles. The question of bringing legislative amendments to allow Mauritian nationals living abroad to vote, I'm all for it, but it's a wide-ranging implications. This will be examined by the Constitutional Review Commission that will be set up shortly.
Madame la Présidente, le Premier ministre peut-il indiquer à la Chambre si son bureau, à l'heure actuelle, dispose de données sur le nombre de Mauriciens vivant à l'étranger qui pourraient être éligibles à voter?
As I said, the wide implications, we are looking at it, but in some countries it's going to be very difficult, I must say, straight away. Already we know this. In some countries it would be very, very difficult to organize. In other countries, not so. So we're looking at all this.
He wanted to know if you have figures, which I doubt. You don't.
Some figures,
Doesn't.
we have some figures.
Là, êtes-vous disposé, Monsieur le Premier ministre, à procéder à un recensement?
No, I should have replied to this. No, we are looking at the figures. In some countries, it's even difficult to get the figures. This is why we don't have the total number.
Some people have double nationality, that's why it's complicated. to actually find out. But very interesting issue, very interesting. Anyway, next question from Mr. Levin.
B903, please.
With regard to part A of the question, Madam Speaker, I'm informed by the Commissioner of Police that from January 2025 to the 23rd of October 2025, 974 suspects have been arrested in connection with synthetic drugs as follows. 446 adults for consumption. Of these, 232 were provisionally charged, 119 opted for rehabilitation through the Drugs Users Administrative Panel under the Ministry of Health and Wellness, and 95 had no provisional charge lodged. 22 adults for drug trafficking, all were provisionally charged. 497 adults for drug dealing, and all were provisionally charged, and 9 minors for drug dealing, and none were provisionally charged. Madam Speaker, as regards to part A2 of the question, I'm tabling the quantities of synthetic drugs seized. Regarding part B of the question, I'm informed that the police has strengthened enforcement, cooperation, and preventive actions to combat drugs, including synthetic drugs. Measures include enhanced intelligence gathering and profiling of suspects, drug mapping to detect hotspots, aggressive crackdowns in drug-prone areas with the support of specialized units, use of drones for surveillance and detection of illicit plantations, reinforcement of ATSU resources, and daily patrols in high-risk areas. Moreover, with a view to disrupting drug and other criminal networks, ATSU is collaborating closely with other law enforcement and regulatory bodies, including the MRA, Customs, Anti-Narcotics Section, the Financial Crimes Commission, the Ministry of Health and Wellness, and the Financial Intelligence Unit. ATSU has strengthened regional partnership with Reunion Island, India, Seychelles, Mozambique, Madagascar, Kenya, South Africa, and Tanzania through intelligence gathering, sharing of the intelligence, tracking of suspects, control deliveries, and exchange of best practices, which have helped curb the movement of synthetic drugs through maritime and air routes. At the international level, ATSU collaborates with the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime, the US Drug Enforcement Administration, DEA, the UK National Crime Agency, Interpol, and the Royal Canadian Mounted Police for intelligence sharing, capacity building, cross-border investigations, and financial tracing, thereby strengthening national efforts to combat transnational drug trafficking networks. Madam Speaker, with regard to part C of the question, I'm informed by the Chief Executive Officer of the National Agency for Drug Control that in line with this mandate to support evidence-based policy decisions, the fourth meeting of the Drug Control Board considered the current national and international policy approaches on the regulation of cannabis. The discussion examined 3 technical models, namely decriminalization, whereby use, possession remains illegal, but sanctions shift from criminal penalties to administrative penalties with no criminal record for the offender. Depenalization, whereby cannabis use and possession remains a criminal offense with reduced criminal sanctions. And 3, regulated legalization, whereby use or possession becomes legal under appropriate regulations. Following deliberations, the board agreed unanimously that a deeper context-specific technical assessment is necessary for Mauritius. To this end, a technical committee will be set up to conduct a comprehensive review and submit a report covering inter alia the projected economic impact of each model, the resource implications for the scaling up of prevention, treatment, and harm reduction services that must accompany any such reforms, and the recommended policy option for consideration by NADEC based on technical feasibility, public health outcomes, and social equity parameters. The specific legal drafting required for the implementation of the selected model under the Mauritian legal framework. The technical committee will be chaired by the CEO of the agency and will comprise experts in public health, the criminal justice system, fiscal policy, neuroscience, addiction, medicine, harm reduction, as well as representatives of the Ministry of Health and Wellness. The board expects to receive the findings of the committee within the next quarter to guide the next phase of the action. The issue, Madam Speaker, remains complex and requires careful and thorough examination from all relevant perspectives. We are treating very cautiously to ensure that any decision taken is evidence-based and will under no circumstances impact negatively on our public health, our youth, and our national values.
Yes, Mr. Third member for Port Louis North and Mont Island, Mr. Kazen.
B904, please.
Madam Speaker, the Commission on the Prerogative of Mercy is established in accordance with Section 75(2) of the Constitution and consists of a chairperson and not less than 2 other members appointed by the President acting in his own deliberate judgment. The President of the Republic has accordingly appointed Mr. Hamad, GCSK, as chairperson, he is a former judge, as the chairperson of the Commission on the Prerogative of Mercy with effect from the 10th of October 2025 for a term of office of 2 years. The other members of the Commission are Mrs. Sita Rambu, Ms. Subhashni Bachchan, and Mr. Vasit Rauf Lechomaya. They have also been appointed for a term of office of 2 years with effect from the 10th of October.
Thank you. Yes.
Yeah, thank you, Honorable Prime Minister. Maybe not for now, if the Honorable Prime Minister can table a number of pending cases before that commission in future sittings, please. Pending cases.
Yes, they will be looking at all the cases before that.
He wants you to table, but it doesn't arise from your question. You can ask, still ask on a friendly basis, but it doesn't arise from the question. Next question, Mr. Etwaria.
B905, please. Thanks.
Madam Speaker, it is clear that the policy of the previous government was to recruit at any cost in order to win the elections and recruitment at the Development Bank of Mauritius Limited. It is such a blatant case, Madam Speaker, such a blatant case. The DBM has recruited 102 additional staff between September 2023 to November 2024. This represents an increase of almost 45%, bringing the overall staffing to 333. Let me stress, Madam Speaker, that this practice cut across several public institutions, not just this one, leading to inefficiencies, disruption of the proper functioning, and frustration of those who are already there. You suddenly see a horde of people coming up, going on top of the head, getting better paid, and no results. This is what the MSM did with this country. With respect to Part B of the question, I'm informed by the DBM Limited that the former Chief Executive Officer undertook 28 official missions from 2015 to 2024 at a total cost of 1,464,211 rupees. This included air tickets, per diem, and so on, accommodation, transport. One, Mr. Bodwa Singh Joku, Acting Managing Director from 14th of August 2015 to the 3rd of April 2018, undertook 1 SADC mission and 5 missions to Rodrigues. Total amount paid was 453,992, of which per diem was 422,971, and the cost of their ticket was 31,021 rupees. Late Mr. Lobin Anmol, Managing Director from the 4th of April 2018 to the 31st of March 2020, undertook 4 SADC missions and 8 missions to Rodrigue. The total amount paid was 539,273, of which per diem was 356,013, and the cost of air tickets was 183,260. Third, Mr. Jaywant Pandu, Managing Director, Chief Executive from the 1st of April 2020 to December 2024, undertook 1 SADC mission and 9 missions to Rodrigue, and the total amount paid was 470,946, of which per diem paid was 361,740, and the cost of air ticket 109,206.
Thank you, Prime Minister. Time is up. Time is up. I'm sorry. Now I've got a few questions that have been withdrawn. B 908, 906, 907, 914, 912, 952. Thank you very much, everyone. Now we go to questions addressed to honourable ministers. Honourable Third Member for Rivière des Anguilles. Ms. Daouyaro.
Yes, thank you, Madam Speaker. B 917.
Madam Speaker, I wish to inform the House that the mental condition of pregnant women is investigated once patient has mental health issues or shows obvious signs of distress and that demand immediate attention. I'm informed that over the past 3 years, a total of 117 mothers has been reported to be experiencing severe perinatal mental health issues. With regard to part B of the question, my ministry recognizes the impact of perinatal mental health issues on both mother and child. To support these mothers, various measures are already in place. Mothers suffering from perinatal mental health issues are catered by a multidisciplinary team comprising obstetricians and gynecologists, psychiatrists, clinical psychologists, medical social workers, and community psychiatric nurses. The multidisciplinary team provides assessment, treatment, and ongoing monitoring during pregnancy and post-delivery. During pregnancy, the maternal treatment is concurrently done by both the obstetrician and psychiatrist. In case there is further management, the mothers are referred to psychiatrists and psychologists for counseling, and these health professionals address the initial phase of anxiety and mental health concern during and after their pregnancy as part of their follow-up. Mothers with severe symptoms are admitted in ward for stabilization and treatment. Madam Speaker, I am further informed that in case of mothers suffering from severe perinatal mental issues, the newborn babies are kept in the nursery for care and feeding under the supervision of trained nurses in neonatal intensive care unit. The mothers are also encouraged to come to the nursery to breastfeed them. An extraction of mother's milk is carried out for mothers who are unable to breastfeed their babies due to their health conditions. Furthermore, once the mothers are discharged from the hospital, the medical social services assign a trained caregiver to carry out home visits so as to assist the mother and other family members in the bringing of a baby at home. The medical social worker may also liaise with the Ministry of Gender Equality and Family Welfare on a case-to-case basis. In addition, the newborn baby is followed by a pediatrician to ensure optimal care and safety of the baby, and community nurses specialized in psychiatrics also pay visits to the mothers. Madam Speaker, as a caring government, my ministry remains committed to strengthening perinatal mental health services through early intervention, integrated support, and continuous monitoring to ensure the wellness of both the mothers and the babies.
Yes, are you right? Yes. Dr. O'Neill, please.
Thank you, Honourable Minister. It is very well known that postpartum period represents a very difficult time for mothers who have delivered, and sometimes the services provided at the hospital are not in line with what is expected to support them. May I request the Honourable Minister to consider having a walk-in service well after they are discharged from hospital, particularly that we have quite a percentage of women who do suffer from mental problems well after having delivered. Thank you.
I take note of his request, but I would like to remind the honourable member of the limited number of gynecologists and as well as other specialists in our medical field. But in the months to come, probably we are going to recruit additional specialists for that purpose.
I'm sorry, but postpartum would not be gynecologists, would be? Both and
Psychiatrists.
okay, I thought it was more there. Okay, thank you. I just have to remind everyone that we have questions which have been withdrawn. 918, the next one has been withdrawn. Then PQ 934 will be replied by Honourable Minister of Health and Wellness. So now I go to Ms. Antil. Honourable Antil.
Je vous remercie, Madame la Présidente. B 919.
Madam Speaker, I'm informed that as per records available at my ministry, following the flooding which occurred in the region of Saint-Jean Cemetery, whereby, amongst others, several tombs were damaged. A meeting was held on 13 November 2023 under the chair of Monseigneur Duron at l'Évêché de Port-Louis in the presence of the then Minister of Environment, Solid Waste Management and Climate Change, the then Mayor of Municipal Council of Catabon, the representatives of the Ministry of Health and Wellness, the National Development Unit and the Land Drainage Authority, during which several decisions were agreed to, and including a committee chaired by the then Minister of Environment, Solid Waste Management and Climate Change and comprising all concerned stakeholders, would meet initially on a weekly basis at the seat of the l'Évêché to monitor the progress of the works. During subsequent weekly meetings chaired by the then Minister of Environment, Solid Waste Management and Climate Change, the parish of Saint-Jean requested for an assessment of damages caused to the tombs and the rehabilitation and repairs of the tombs in the cemetery to be undertaken. Unfortunately, nothing was done and was left unattended by the previous government, despite several appeals made by the parish of Saint-Jean. Furthermore, in his reply to a PNQ on 14 November 2023, the then Minister of National Infrastructure and Community Development informed that the cleaning of the tombs and cemetery would be undertaken by the Ministry of Environment, Solid Waste Management and Climate Change and Moving Facilities Limited, but still nothing was done. Madam Speaker, in view of the high emotional and cultural significance relating to the loss of loved ones and considering the humanitarian dimension of the problem, I chaired a meeting at my ministry on 16 October 2025 with Dr. Honorable Boulel, Minister of Agro-Industry, Food Security, Blue Economy and Fisheries, Honorable Veda Balamoudi, Deputy Speaker, and Honorable Antil, the Government Chief Whip, the Parish of Saint-Jean, the Ministry of Local Government, the Ministry of Environment, Solid Waste Management and Climate Change, the Municipal Council of Catabon, and the National Development Unit to see the way forward to address the issues with regard to the tombs which were damaged during the floods. Madam Speaker, during our discussions at the meeting, the representatives from the parish of Saint-Jean informed that a total of 512 tombs were damaged, of which 71 tombs were critically impacted, 141 tombs partially damaged, and 300 tombs with minor damages or with missing ornaments. The parish further informed that last year, a rehabilitation and repairs plan was prepared following a survey carried out by its quantity surveyor, architects and engineers for the repairs of the 512 tombs and the reinforcement of 3 walls around the perimeter of Saint-Jean Church. The plan with detailed costs was submitted to the previous government, but again, unfortunately, no positive response was given to the parish despite successive reminders. Madam Speaker, we are not heartless as the previous government. I'm pleased to announce that this government has approved the funding for the repairs of the damaged tombs as well as the reinforcement of the 3 walls around the perimeter of the church. Madam Speaker, the works will be undertaken by the parish of Saint-Jean, being given that each tomb has its own specificity. The parish has also confirmed the duration of the works to be 6 to 8 months. Madam Speaker, I'm again meeting the representatives of the parish of Saint-Jean this Thursday, 30 October 2025 at 11:30, together with my 3 colleagues of the constituency number 18, to pursue our dialogue. Madam Speaker, I'm also glad that before the All Saints' Day 2025, the government has agreed to do needful to enable the rehabilitation and repairs of the
Madame la Présidente, je suis profondément émue par la réponse du ministre. À 4 jours de la Toussaint, ce gouvernement rétablit dignité et respect aux défunts touchés par les inondations de 2023-2024. Le ministre pourrait-il indiquer à la Chambre si son ministère envisage d'accélérer les procédures afin que ces 300 familles puissent, dans les meilleurs délais, se recueillir dignement sur les tombes de leurs proches. Je vous remercie, Madame la Présidente.
Monsieur le ministre.
Madam Speaker, as I've said, this government is a government which has a heart. You know, government has approved only Friday last to do good, to go for the funding of the repairs and rehabilitation of the tombs. Now, together with the MPs of the constituency, we are going to make sure that the necessary funds be made available to the parish, and it is up to the parish to do the works.
C'est dans quelques jours. Hein. C'est dans quelques jours. Next question. The second member for Savane.
Madam Speaker, please. B920.
Thank you.
Madam Speaker, the Chemin-Grenier Road, B10, is a classified road linking several villages, namely Suriname, Riambel, Chemin-Grenier, and Rivière-des-Galets. The Central Water Authority had requested relief from the Road Development Authority in July 2024 for the renewal of its pipeline along the main road at Chemin-Grenier from the Farmers Service Center, Cancharieux, to Jumbo Road, over a total length of about 3.28 kilometers. The RDA had accordingly issued a letter of intent, and subsequently relief was granted in August 2024, subject to several conditions. Madam Speaker, with regard to part A of the question, I am informed by the Ministry of Energy and Public Utilities that the CWA undertook pipeline works through its in-house team as part of its ongoing pipe replacement program. The works involve the laying of 160 millimeter diameter high-density polyethylene pipes on both sides of the main road, one section extending from the taxi stand to Winners and the other from the taxi stand to the Farmers Service Center, covering a total length of approximately 1.2 kilometers. The work started on 21st August 2024 and were completed in October 2024. Temporary reinstatement of the road surface was carried out concurrently with the pipe laying works by Pro-Built Contractor Limited. However, due to deterioration of temporary reinstatement at certain locations, Pride Civil Engineering Contractor Limited was engaged by CWA on two separate occasions, namely during the end of year festive period in 2024 and prior to the Mahashivratri festival in 2025, to undertake remedial reinstatement works and ensure accessibility and safety for both vehicular and pedestrian traffic. I wish to highlight that following several road inspections, the RDA observed that the temporary reinstatement works were in an unacceptable condition with surface settlements and exposed crusher run posing safety risks to road users. Consequently, the RDA issued several notices to CWA requesting the latter to immediately reinstate all trenches with asphaltic concrete in line with the conditions of relief. Madam Speaker, as regards part B of the question, had the CWA failed to comply with the conditions of relief, the RDA initiated procedures for the forfeiture of the CWA's back guarantee to enable it to carry out the repair works instead. This was subsequently put on hold after the CWA indicated on 5th September 2025 that the bid document for the permanent road reinstatement contract had been finalized and was expected to be launched by end of September 2025. However, I note with deep concern that we are now at the end of October 2025 and the bid has still not been launched. I shall be taking up this matter with my colleague, the Honourable Minister of Energy and Public Utilities, to determine the way forward for the reinstatement of the works. Madam Speaker, as I've indicated in previous replies, namely for PQB 616 and 8 July 2025, and for PQB 859 on 7 October 2025, the RDA has proposed a memorandum of understanding with the CWA, whereby the RDA would undertake the permanent reinstatement works once the pipeline is fully completed and commissioned. The MOU will define the respective responsibilities and payment arrangements between both parties. A meeting was held on 7 October 2025 at the level of my ministry with the concerned stakeholders, during which it was agreed that the Ministry of Energy and Public Utilities and the CWA will jointly review the draft MOU. A follow-up meeting would be scheduled within the coming weeks to finalize the arrangement.
Yes. Supplementary.
Will the minister inform the House that the project will be carried before the opening of the market fair at Chemin-Grenier, which is scheduled on 15th of December?
Short and sweet, short and sweet.
As I said, I will liaise with my colleague, the Minister of Energy, and we'll see the quickest we can do it.
Thank you. Yes. Dr. Tanu, please.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Question B921, please.
Madam Speaker, I'm informed by the Division of the Veterinary Services of the Ministry that contagious caprine pneumonia is a severe and even fatal respiratory disease in goats caused by a bacteria, namely Mycoplasma capricolor. It is characterized by symptoms as fever, poor appetite, breathing difficulties, coughing, and nasal discharge. The disease leads to acute pneumonia, which can cause very high mortality rates in affected herds. Since mid-August 2025, several cases have been observed in 10 goat farms over the island and during meat inspection carried out at the Mauritius Meat Authority. Madam Speaker, with regard to party of the question, I'm informed that a death certificate is being issued by the DVS for the diseased animals. In addition, all farmers who are registered with a Small Farmers Welfare Fund under the Breeders Protection Scheme will be paid an amount of 6,000 rupees per animal. As regards part B of the question, I wish to inform the House that DVS provides 24/7 free service to the breeding community. One veterinary officer is on call after working hours. Any sick cases reported to the DVS or its sub-officers are attended and treated within the same day. For cases with respiratory problems, antibiotics are being given as well as supportive treatment to reduce mortalities and morbidities. 75% of infected goats which have been treated on time have recovered. Regular follow-up is being done at these farms every day over a period of 5 days. Regarding part C of the question, affected farmers are sensitized to avoid trading their sick animals and enhance the biosecurity measures at their farm level. In the meantime, upon receipt of results from Centre de coopération internationale en recherche agronomique pour le développement, the DVS has requested quotation from foreign suppliers on 22nd October 2025 for the supply of 10,000 doses of CCPP vaccines.
Thank you, Minister. Are you happy? Yes, Mr. Lubin.
Speaker, may I ask the Honourable Minister as to the number of goats that have died recently with regard to this disease, if you have the figures?
I think it's about 15 goats.
Okay. Honourable Second Member for Vieux-Grand-Port, Mr. Seaburn, yes.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. It's question 922, please.
Madam Speaker, I am informed by the Traffic Management and Road Safety Unit, TRMSU, of my ministry, that the village of Nouvelle-France is crossed by Savane Road A9. and Phoenix Plaisance Road A10, and that no request has been received for the installation of speed humps or any other speed control measures along Phoenix Plaisance Road A10, commonly known as Grand Port Road. I, however, understand that requests have been received for speed controlling measures at Pont Colville and Dream Price Supermarket, both located in the village of Nouvelle-France. The TRMSU has advised that due to the topography and the alignment of the road, the construction of raised tables is not being envisaged at those locations, as they may pose a problem in terms of visibility. Madam Speaker, the segment of both Savane Road A9 and the Phoenix Plaisance Road A10 crossing the village of Nouvelle-France currently have a speed limit of 60 km per hour. The TRMSU is exploring the possibility of implementing speed zones of 40 km per hour at the specific locations along routes A9 and A10 in order to control speed and enhance the safety of pedestrians, cyclists and other road users. The project would be implemented under the framework agreement by a contractor, and this is the name of the contractor will emerge as soon as the evaluation process is being completed at the Central Procurement Board.
Yes. Yes, Miss. Oh, my.
Je vous remercie, Madame la Présidente. B 923.
Madam Speaker, I am informed by the Metro Express Limited that an emergency response plan is in place along Saint-Jean Road in Quatre-Bornes. This plan was prepared by MEL in collaboration with emergency services, including the Mauritius Fire and Rescue Services, SAMU, and police in 2022. To improve and facilitate the entry and exit of fire trucks, an access point of approximately 12 meters located along Osman Avenue was designed with sufficient turning radius to allow for the safe maneuver of the large fire trucks. This access has been in service since the launch of Phase 2B, Quatre-Bornes to Phoenix in May 2022, and is to the satisfaction of the Mauritius Fire and Rescue Services. As such, Madam Speaker, all vehicles, including those of emergency services, are able to travel from the region of Quatre-Bornes towards Saint-Jean, Belle-Rose, La Louise, Sodnac, or Trianon without the need to take detours. I am further informed that in the event of the Saint-Jean is inaccessible owing to situations like a road accident, the emergency services can also, as a last resort, gain access to the railway tracks after receiving special authorization from the Metro Express Operation Control Center. The scenario has been tested during full-scale simulation in collaboration with the fire services, SAMU and the police in the presence of the National Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Center and the Singaporean Safety Auditor from the SMRT. Madam Speaker, I am pleased to inform the House that the collaborative efforts in developing the emergency response plan does not stop here. To ensure that a high level of coordination demonstrated in the initial full-scale simulation is maintained, and to continuously improve our response capability, I am proposing to hold a follow-up simulation exercise. This exercise will involve all stakeholders directly, the police, the fire services, SAMU, the National Disaster and Risk Reduction Management Center, the Metro Express Limited, and the TRMSU, which was not involved initially. Now, the primary goal will be to identify any residual issues with the plan, particularly concerning rapid development and coordination across different access points and routes. By fine-tuning our procedures through this critical practical exercise, we will ensure that any genuine emergency situation, every action is executed efficiently and effectively, allowing us to respond swiftly and save lives, while ensuring traffic disturbance is kept to an absolute minimum. This proactive approach underscores the government's unwavering commitment to safety and security of our commuters and the community along the Metro Express corridor. And as a last note, I'm tabling the emergency response plan for Saint-Jean-Catherbourg.
Thank you. Yes.
Je vous remercie, Madame la Présidente. Would the Minister inform the House whether are there designated safe zones or assembly points along Saint-Jean Road for l'évacuation urgente?
Yes, it's quite detailed in the plan that I've just submitted, but when we will meet soon, I hope the Honourable Member will facilitate arrangement at some appropriate location for us to come and explain what is inside in the plan so that everybody can understand.
Second question.
Thank you. Will the Minister inform the House how will communication be managed with residents, commuters and emergency services in the event of an accident? Thank you.
Good question, very pertinent question. But like I said, when we will meet in a participative, democratic manner in your constituency, Honourable Member, we'll detail all these going forward.
Yes. Honourable François, please. Last question, I think.
Yes, thank you. B94.
Madam Speaker, allow me before starting to answer this main question to wish good luck to all the 14,837 PESAC students who have started their PESAC examinations today and which will continue till Friday, 31st October. Coming to the main question, I wish to inform the House that the Foundation Programme for Literacy, Numeracy and Skills was introduced in January 2025 by this government to replace the defunct and much decried extended programme. To recall, the success rate of the previous extended programme was on average a meagre 6%, with the result that some 2,000 students were leaving the system without a certificate every year. Allow me to provide the Honourable Member from Rodrigues figures related to the performance of our students in Rodrigues. In 2022, only 3 out of 167 students. In 23, only 11 out of 204. And in 2024, only 7 out of 209 students who took the NC exams were successful. Only 31 out of 580 students who took the NC exams in Rodrigues for the past 3 years were successful. The figures above clearly show how neither the curriculum and assessment nor the assessment frameworks of the former extended program was adapted for those children who were unsuccessful in their PESAC examinations. In contrast to the defunct extended program, the FPLNS blends academic and vocational components, creating clearer pathways toward the technical and vocational education and training stream. The structure of the program places emphasis on basic literacy, numeracy, digital literacy, and practical skills with a view to reducing the dropout rate. Madam Speaker, I wish to inform the House that all candidates attempting the PESAC assessment for the first time and who have not been successful in up to 3 compulsory core subjects shall take part in a reassessment session during the month of December to provide them with a second chance to meet the minimum requirement for obtaining the PESAC. Candidates who are successful in the reassessment exercise would be admitted to grade 7 of the mainstream program, whereas those who are unsuccessful have 2 options: either to repeat grade 6 once more or to join the foundation program at grade 7. Madam Speaker, with regard to part A of the question, the options I have just mentioned remain valid for the students of the 2025 PESAC examinations. And as regard to part B of the question, I wish to inform the House that the foundation class at grade 7 have already been put in place since the beginning of this year and is operational in all our schools, including Rodrigues.
Thank you. Just one supplementary. Yes, you got 3 minutes.
Yeah, just one supplementary, Madam Speaker. Thank you. I thank the Honourable Minister for his clear answer, and I also join him to wish good luck to all the students. May I ask the Honourable Minister, under the FPLNS, whether there will be introduced any special subjects for Rodrigues students in respect to the specificity of Rodrigues
and to provide details thereof. Thank you. Thank you, Honourable Member. That is an interesting question. Yes, the specificity of Rodrigues has been borne in mind, and definitely as electives, students in Rodrigues will have the option of doing farming and also fishing, which will be part of their electives in Rodrigues.
Very good. That's a good way to stop, I think. Maybe we can break for 1 hour and a half. Thank you.